Hello, 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 everyone. Is everyone doing today? Thank you for being here. This is our 50 celebration, and I am so excited that we have everyone showing up today. Let's first say our thank yous to some friends of our channels like Will from Frontier Mania and Hezekiah from Roger Foley's. And also other friends like Jay Bond and David E. Persons, but also to all of you who took time out and subscribed to this channel and being here this afternoon and hopefully I hope you're telling your friends about us. This is a wonderful, wonderful experience that I'm enjoying this, and I'm hoping that you're enjoying it with me. But let's do a real quick roll call, and then we're going to get everything going. So first person on our show came in the chat today was Miss Casey. How you doing, ma'am? And then we have Will from Frogtermania. Hello, sir. Jay Bond, friend of the channel and one of the writers that actually his episode will be premiering tomorrow. Mr. David E. Persons, another friend of the channel. How you doing, sir? And we have Frogter Follies, Hezekiah. And it's always great to see him. MC, hello. How you doing, ma'am? And of course, Miss Ray. Good to see you here on with us. And my friend Vestige of Peace. Nice to see you. And we always have to say hi to Mr. Mimsy. And that's all we have today, but that's great. Now let's bring up our panel today. First, let's introduce Dave Coos. Hey Dave, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing wonderful, thanks.
And next is our friend David E. Persons.
I'm just from Austin. I don't have all I have on my channel is music.
Well, sir, you want to bring up some music over here and let us play. I would be happy to have it.
Well, I have my guitar, so if we have some lyrics later that need music, maybe I can do something live. We'll see.
Oh, well, okay, all right. And of course, we have Jay Bond, friend of the channel and very good person to have with us. Jay, how you doing?
Good evening, everyone. I'm good. Late at night here, so I'm pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yes. So if you don't know, Jay is in Germany, so it's kind of late over there. And I do want to apologize for a little late start. There was a little technical difficulties, not with the equipment, but with the user. So the problem is between the keyboard and chair. Dave knows what I'm talking about. So does Jay, right?
Oh yeah, happens all the time.
Happens all the time. All right. So Dave, last week we read some stories that was written by your father, Grandpa Duck, and we want you to kind of tell us a little bit about your about your father, about how he read some stories. But before we get to that, I see someone just pop in here. A big friend of the channel, very major supporter, and he's one going to be able to drop in for just a few minutes. Will or Roger Follies. I mean, it's Roger Mania. Excuse me. Will, how you doing, sir?
I'm not physically doing nothing.
I told you, Lucky Laptop is here.
Lucky Laptop is more than welcome to be here as long as he behaves himself.
No. We are here. Lucky and I are here to have a good time. Thanks for having us on.
Oh, you're more than welcome to that.
And congratulations. Congratulations. This is amazing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And I'm glad to see you on here. I'm going to throw you back stage unless you want to hang out and talk a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I'll hang out for a bit. Totally.
Okay, outstanding.
Sorry, that was held to the cheek.
All right,
I thought I was lucky.
And folks, you have a question, you have you want to ask one of us on the panel, throw it up there on the chats. If I catch it, if we see it, we'll pop it up and we'll answer the question. So please do not hesitate. Dave, so tell us about Grandpa Duck.
Yeah, sure. My dad was a high school teacher and football coach for about 50 years, and he actually played college ball for the Florida Gators back in the 40s. When everybody else was at war, my dad showed up and started on third string and worked his way up the first string, playing football for him. And then after that, of course, he decided to join the Navy. So, but when he retired down to Florida, he just started writing stories about whatever he ran into out when he was out and about walking around. My dad could kind of talk like Donald Duck, so I'll do my best imitation of my dad talking like Donald Duck. I don't do it as good as he did, but you might call me Uncle Duck because I got a lot of nieces and nephews out there. So that's about the best. So with Ducky,
I think that was spot on. I think that was great. That was great.
So with Duckies, my dad would talk to whatever animal he was interacting with, and that way he could write the story, and it made it interesting for all the grandkids and great grandkids now, and he even had a great granddaughter before he left us just about a year ago.
I enjoyed his stories, especially Ozzy the Otter, and want to say hello to Mr. Allen, who just came in. Alan Hunt, how you doing, sir? Glad to see you. And Ozzy the Otter, I did enjoy that particular story, and I just could see your father or just a man driving a vehicle, seeing Ozzy on the road, tractor trailer coming at him, and go, Ozzy, no! And of course, the otter turns back and turns around and saves himself. And I have to say that's really nice little story there, and I really enjoy it. And then let's talk about the squirrel story a little bit. Clowns and acrobats, and everyone, if you can say something in the chat, and if you heard the story, would you say the description that Grandpa Duck gave in that story? You can't sit there and say you have not seen squirrels doing something like that. And just watching it, and you just kind of get to laugh at it a little bit. What can anyone? Would you agree with me on that assessment?
Well, I've certainly seen them in my backyard doing shenanigans like that.
And my dogs have an annual, or I shouldn't say annual, a daily chase around the top of the trees with the squirrels in our backyard. They never catch them though. It's kind of interesting.
I always ask the question: what would a dog do if it catches the car?
Probably bark a lot and screech a little bit, maybe. Either that or bite the tire, one of the two.
Yeah. I definitely will say this. I want to read some more of Grandpa Duck's stories in the near future, but you also gave me another, looks like a miniature novel, Viking Sagas. Can you tell me a little bit about that, David? Dave?
Yeah, sure. Well, if you can't tell, I'm from Minnesota, but try not to use my Minnesota accent because everybody knows what that sounds like. And us Minnesotans are mostly from, Scandinavia. In fact, I checked my DNA out, and I'm 97% Scandinavian. So from Norway and Sweden is where my folks come from. So we're proud of our Viking heritage. And the Kensington runestone was found actually in Minnesota and was authenticized. They said it was authentic. So it kind of proves that, the Vikings were here before Columbus ever arrived. That's the way that worked.
That's awesome. That Minnesota is somewhere I've always wanted to visit. It seems like, look, someone that was born and raised in Philadelphia. I don't live there anymore, but someone that was raised there. We hated Minnesota, like 2000. I think it was early 2018. Now, and Dave, I don't know if you know what I'm about to refer to if you're a sports person, but when Minnesota came to Philadelphia for that NFC Championship game, and they completely soiled on the Rocky statue. And that we were infuriated. We said, we can't believe it. But restaurant owners were spitting into Vikings fans' food. They were throwing them out of bars. Oh, it was terrible. And then you guys lost and we won. So now everyone loves Minnesota. Just wanted to put that out there. Thank you.
Hey, Dave, most of my family's from Brainerd, around that area. My aunt and uncle used to own the radio and TV station in Brainerd. But my grandparents came over on the boat in I forget when it was, early 1900s as kids. They actually both came over on the same boat and didn't meet till like 18 years later. It was kind of neat. But I'm almost
cool.
all Swedish. I'm almost all Swedish.
Minnesota. I remember one of my favorite Minnesota stories actually took place here in Florida. A few years back when my son was getting ready to go to college and we were going to the college for orientation. It was a nice February day. Not cold, probably in the upper 40s, low 50s in the morning. So I had a thin jacket, long pants on. Pretty much everyone in my family, because we still were from South Carolina, we still kind of were used to colder environment than people in Florida were. All the local Florida folks, they were bundled up. They were wearing nice thick jackets and everything else. So we're sitting in this orientation, and this young lady walks in. She's wearing a t-shirt, short shorts, flip-flops. Again, not super cold, but certainly not short shorts, flip-flop, t-shirt. Look like I'm ready to go to the beach weather neither.
That's a woman after my heart. It'll be 45 degrees. I'll be in shorts and like flip-flops. So a woman after my own heart.
They did their little roll call and announcing where everyone was from, and they got to this. They call out some girl's name from Minnesota, and she stands up. And the first thought that came to my mind, oh, that explains why. To her, this is a nice spring day.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, right. Hey, that's nice.
Like I said, yeah, totally. That's a woman that explains it it speaks for itself. So.
Well, we got to talk. We got to, if you're in Minnesota, you have to be nice, right, Dave? You have to always talk like this and be nice and say, yeah. Sorry, I just talked to my cousin on the phone yesterday. So.
Yeah, well, when you start using you betcha, that's when they know for sure.
You betcha, yeah.
See, this is how you know I'm a foreigner. I have no idea what that is. I have no idea what that is or what that pertains to. That's how you know I know nothing about it.
It's kind of like y'all, when you say y'all down here.
So like every state, like every major city or state has like their term, like Billy John. I'm not even gonna. I can't even say it right. I don't live in Philadelphia. I wasn't raised.
All you guys need to watch the movie Fargo. That'll tell you everything you need to know.
We'll put
not
that
just
on the
movie,
list.
the series as well. The series, the last series was very good. And real quick, hey, Miss J.C. Landry, nice to have you come on in.
But you betcha, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So
I'll stop.
Let's change our topic a little bit, and really the question that I'd like to ask, and because it's interesting, I've asked this question before. I've had this question asked before, and it led to a lot of really good discussions. What is a writer? Who is a writer?
Anybody that writes.
Is that open for everyone, or
Open for everyone. Open for every, I would love to see what the chat has to add to this conversation.
Well,
I think I've
anybody that
already.
writes is a writer, Joe. I mean, come on, there'd be different types of writing, but writing is writing. I mean, you're communicating something through language, or even language in music, or language in drama, or language in whatever else. But writing, anyone who writes is a writer.
Yeah, I think that is the
Yeah.
the purest of the definitions. Whoever
If
writes,
you
whoever
And I
writes
want to.
and
And
creates.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead, Jay.
sorry.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if you have the passion to write, you have fantasy, and I mean, writing is something that is actually free to everyone. Um, it just how successful you are with it depends on how good you are. So, um, it's like journalism. It's a profession that you can learn, that you can educate yourself, but also it is free to everyone who has the passion, the willing, and the fantasy to do it and to go for it.
And I just
Yeah,
want
of
to
course,
add to
there are
that because
different kinds of writing. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
just real quick, and I just want to add to that because it's like, to me, I feel as though a writer is just another form of an artist. People think art only has to do with painting and with drawing, but like art is any form of energy that a person channels into something specific. A cook is an artist. A photographer is an artist. A writer. Like when people can and when people can put together writing in a way that touches the heart and the souls of individuals, that captivates an audience, that's what a writer is. And it's like, and I can't remember who said this before, but it's like it's like it doesn't matter how good or bad it is. It's like it's about how a person expresses what they're the message they're trying to promote, I guess you can say. And it's a form of art. And it's like, there is no such thing as a bad artist or a bad poet or a bad writer. It's just if someone writes something that doesn't captivate an audience, that's because of the audience. But it's art for an individual that expresses themselves.
Yeah, something in addition to that. Like, yeah, art is the impression of the expression of your emotions, like music, painting, like you said, cooking, everything how you express your creativity and your emotions.
And
Yeah,
people write differently. Prose writers can't necessarily write poetry all that well. Poets always can't write prose. Some people can write everything. One of the things that fascinates me about our culture is how pervasive popular music is. Because if you think about it, it combines a lot of the different art forms. It combines poetry or prose. Sometimes think of Gordon Lightfoot songs. That's prose to music. Think about some other things that are out there, and it's kind of what defines our culture. That's our oral tradition, or movies, popular music, popular stories like that. Every culture through history has had some kind of oral tradition that passes the stories down, and this is ours.
and
Think about it. Oh, I'm sorry.
in this case, he did jump in there and did say writing is a self-expressive communications through a written language, and that is
Yeah, that's good.
yes, yeah, that's good. But I think Will really did hit the nail on the head. Writers are artists. So is the chef. So is the art painter. So is the sculptor. Uh, I think a lot of people do not see writing as art because sometimes creative writing. You have creative writing. I think that's more of an art. But then you have business writing, and it's not necessarily an art form, and it's because you're writing to as maybe an instructions or a report that to kind of uh, support the business that you're working on, or you're writing a technical manual on how to do certain things within an application.
Well, Joe, I don't know.
Well,
I think part of that is art. I mean, for any of us who have ever been up at 4 a.m. on Christmas morning trying to put something together, if the instructions are not written well and artfully, we're in trouble. And
Because
it's not necessarily what we think of art, but it's anything that's well done and is expressive is art, isn't it? In a way.
And I also think about the purpose of what it's for. If you're putting something together, like a manual or something that you're up at 4 a.m. putting together for a purpose, it's art once it's expressed, because at the end of the day, it's promoting something else. Like if someone's putting together a manual about how to build a box fan, I don't know, a television, it's art, because at the end of the day, the product that's being produced has a legitimate purpose. So at the end of the day,
you're creating something.
It's creating something. So I mean, the purpose of art is creating something that's beautiful and to be enjoyed by others. Don't quote me word for word, but that's my interpretation of art. So
hey, I just had a cool idea for a song. You guys want to hear this real quick? Hang on a second. Let's see.
Go for it.
See. I'm a writer. I got something to say. I'm a writer. I want to say it my way. I'm a writer. Doesn't matter what I do. I'm gonna write for fun and for you. Something like that. I don't know. We may have something going there. I have to sit down and
Yeah,
figure it out.
sounds like you got something there. Yes. So, Dave, you want to add anything to this discussion, or?
Well, I was going to say, my dad is definitely no literal giant, but he was a very good storyteller, and I think that's part of his his deal when he was teaching. I actually was one of my dad's students. I was in a school so small. How small was it? It was so small that you could throw a rock from one end of the school to the other if you had a good arm. But we had 300 kids there from K through 12. That's how small the school was. And my dad was my football coach in junior high, and he was also my civics teacher in 9th grade, and did Minnesota history with him. And part of his class was telling stories, and I think he just brought that on to, hey, I want to have my grandkids experience what Florida's like without even traveling to Florida. They got to meet characters, like Ozzie the Otter and Gus the Gator, and countless others that he created all by himself. And some characters, I think he might have borrowed one or two characters from Beatrice on the rabbits, but still the story he wrote was his original thoughts. It wasn't something that he took out of another book or anything like that. And I think, that's what a writer is a storyteller who makes something interesting for other people to read and pass on that history, like you're saying.
And without our writers writing these stories, it is hard for us to understand what the nation was like in the 1830s. But through their writings, we have a good understanding. It's hard for us to understand what times were really like during ancient Rome. We do have an understanding now because of the writing. But if we didn't have that writing, we probably would know, hey, yeah, they built this Coliseum, but we don't know what they did with it. They probably played football.
And it's because of that storytelling that has created for people today such a beautiful picture as to what life was like then. I mean, why do you think so many people say, oh, I want to visit Paris, I want to visit Rome, I want to visit China and Taiwan, I want to visit all these luxurious places here in the States, people outside the States, I want to go to NYC, because
Germany.
of the art that people have put together. No one wants to go to Germany, but just kidding. But it's like because of art in itself, because of people's words, that captivates an audience, that captivates the attention of people. It causes them to say, hey, that's a beautiful place to go. I would like to visit there because of the art created by someone else. So absolutely, to that point, like
writing is also something. Writing is something else too. It's power, because whoever writes the history tells the story. And we think about it, the victors. What's the old saying? The victors always write the history, and that's one reason we have certain perspectives about certain events in history. What's really fascinating to me is that writing started as talking. If you look at the history of the Bible, the entire development of the Old Testament, nothing was written down until about 500 BCE. There were 1,500 years there where it was passed from father to son, from mother to daughter, every generation, and they got it. They made sure they got it specifically correct. And if you look at the history today, we've had two huge major wars in the last century, and how the history of those two wars were written says a lot about where we are today in the world. I mean, it's important to understand the power of writing, I guess is what I get.
And real quick, we want to say hi to King Pokey, Master of Railroads. Nice to see you come in, sir.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take the wind out of everybody's sail.
It's one of those. I'm doing about 5 different things at one time, but I think we all understand that, and we know how that is.
Yeah.
And and always very good thoughts. These are very good ideas. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, who is the writer? A person who sits there and writes and tries to create. It does not have to be great. It gets better as you do. But but just get there and just do it. And a lot of times, sometimes to write, you have to break down those barriers that allows you to open up a little bit. That can be the hardest thing for anybody to do.
Well, that's true. That's very true.
Yes. Yes. It's very, very hard to do.
Because there are some people as well. I think all part of it also is the fact that people are afraid of being critiqued. Like we said earlier, some art gets people's attention, some art doesn't. Some people's writing gets people's attention. People think it's good. Other people look at it and say it's not good. So a lot of people are afraid sometimes to express their right to expression, which is what art is, which is what writing is rather, as art. And because of their fear of that type of reaction, that's part of the reason why a lot of people will be hesitant to write.
It's that
you give off a lot of your personal thoughts and of yourself. So this is you open up and to the outside, and it's not always easy, and you can get hurt easily.
And I'm going to also add this to this as well. I think we are also in a society now that does not know how to properly critique somebody. In other words, yeah, they'll say it sucks faster than anything else, and will not tell you why they think it sucks. Oh, I don't like it. It sucks. Okay, why? And it could be nothing more than that they're just jealous at the fact that you did it,
or they don't understand it,
or they don't understand it. That's true, David. And when I say proper critique, a lot of times what I like to do when I want to critique something, I do what I call this the sandwich. Something positive, then the actual critique, which is not going to be me saying it sucked, but more like I found that this piece or this or that, and then maybe a mere suggestion on how to make it better, and then of course the positive again, because you don't want a person to feel, hey, you shouldn't even do this. No, you have some good pieces in there, but here's what you can do to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yes, ma'am, JC Laundry, lack of manners. You're absolutely right. I think we are losing manners in our society today.
JC's right, but it's also a lack of respect, I guess, which goes right with manners. I mean, it's and you see that a lot in some of these other, like other website, other YouTube sites. Oh, Will, come on, dude.
Hey. Sorry, I'm getting ready for my stream. Sorry.
But I mean, I think we see that a lot of these frauder people that First Amendment audit or whatever you want to call them. You see it in a lot of people who like the sovereign citizen thing. You see it in a lot of culture now where, the correct thing is whatever benefits them, whatever they like, whatever they want, and anything else it sucks, is wrong, it's terrible, with no rational thinking, with no critical analysis, with no anything. And our culture is really headed to a scary time. That's why fraudsters, for instance, are so dangerous. They're making it acceptable to not think.
And we hear David talk about fraudsters, he is talking about the First Amendment auditors who really I do not believe is about the First Amendment, but more or less about harassing people. So,
Well, and I think there's a big psychological element to that because they get to. It's a lot of what y'all were talking about earlier. They get to, if they can do what they do, then they get to have power, or at least they perceive themselves to have power over somebody, or be able to, make themselves look better, at least in their own eyes, because they can make somebody else feel bad. I don't know. There's just, I think it kind of goes back to what JC was saying earlier. There's a lack of manners. There's a lack of common
lack of
courtesy.
manners, lack of yes. And JC said, "I tell you, we might as well give her a baseball bat because she is hitting it out of the park today."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Not being
she's
taught
right.
respect, not being taught respect, and it starts a lot of times at home.
It
So,
always starts at home, I think. I mean, it starts at whatever home is. I mean, we have a lot more non-traditional homes today, but some of the basics still are the basics.
okay, yeah. So why don't we go ahead and wrap this discussion up? And I want to do a live read today of a poem that I'd written back when I was in college. Uh, this this was something that was a little emotional for me. Uh, Poem. I don't want to go into too much details about it, but I just it's a piece that sometimes I can't read at times uh, because it's like I said, it's very personal. But this was also after it was actually focused in the literary magazine at the college, and it looks like we. So sorry, I had something ding in my ears. My apologies. Uh, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start reading this. The Penance. I saw my dad not long ago. I do not like seeing him now. He has been the strength of our family. When I was a third of my age, he went to work before I woke and built our new home at night, not returning until after I was asleep. I could depend on him. I walked through the doors and took the familiar left. The smell made my nose flinch. This place smells so rancid. 6 years ago, he became slower. It seems he could not answer the most simplest of questions. But he is my dad. I could depend on him. I pushed a button on the wall. Can I help you? The wall asked. I am here to see my dad. I walked into the hall. A lady dressed in white was helping him out of the chair. He is not even 60 yet. He has lost a lot of weight. His hair needs to be cut. His skin is pale and hunchback. I remember how much I could depend on him. I help him to his room. The walls are painted white. Maybe gray would be more appropriate. He smiles at me. He still knows me. He tries to call my name. He cannot remember my name today. I could depend on him. I helped him with his lunch. He is unable to hold his fork. After a few bites, he walked away. I followed him. He forgot I was there. I looked back. White is not a good color. Maybe yellow would be better. I smiled to myself. I will be back again soon. He can depend on that. So, yes, as I was saying, that was a poem I read.
Very
Wrote.
nice. That was
Thank
nice.
you. Yes,
Very nice
very nice.
storytelling.
Yeah, that was
Thank,
good. That was good, Joe. I'm impressed.
thank you very much. Uh, yeah, and it kind of starts to get to me too because I do remember those days. So, uh, and it was a hard time for the whole family. But, yes, uh, thank you. Anyone, Dave? What did you think?
Yeah, I liked it. It just, yeah, like you said, it's tough when your heroes are are stricken with something, and it affects them that way, and it, really affects your relationship with them. But you still remember, like you said, you still remember all the things that they did for you and the person they were, even if they're not the same as they once were.
Very, very true. Very true. I do, like I said, the first uh, verse talking about how he would literally would go to work before I woke up in the morning, and then when he got through with work, he would go to the house that we were building at the time and do some of the work himself. Uh, we did have a contractor that was building the house, but he was an electrician, so he was doing a lot of electrical work for it. So it was, yes, it was a uh, time to remember. So, a few little housekeeping things. I was thinking about this past couple days. I think right now I would want to do another live, but do it once a month, maybe the last weekend of the month. I'm gonna have to do it this way. I'm sorry. Put a one in the chat if you think I should do a live once a month.
Okay.
Ah ha ha! Funny,
Yeah,
Will.
I like.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
one thing you
Hey,
might want to think about doing, Joe.
it's called support. It's called supporting the negative algorithm. Go ahead, David.
Oh, I was Joe. You might want to think about. I mean, if you wanted to expand this a little bit too. Of course, this is my own personal bias, but you might want to look at songwriting too, which is something I've done for years.
You know, I'm not against that. If I can find musicians or who would want to send their music in, I'll play it. I'm not a
You can
musician
use
by any
anything
means.
off my. You can use anything off my website you want. I mean, anything off my YouTube account. Sorry, whatever it is.
Thank you, sir. And you know what? I will take you up on it, but I will definitely talk offline about it.
Yeah, let's chat about that. It seems
Yes,
like that would be a logical way to expand it anyway.
yes, and yes,
This is good.
yes, and I'm hoping, as we grow, as this channel grows, I can branch out into 2 episodes a month. A week, excuse me. But my goals right now is to get the subscriber count up and continue making material that everyone, and hopefully I can attract more people that you guys uh and will support me, continue to get the fans, share with your friends. That, if you share with your friends and just one or two signs up and becomes part of it, that's great. That's, it helps the channel grow. And what everyone has done, like Will and Hezekiah. Hezekiah did a lot for me on Thursday night. We spent a few minutes and to work things out together, and using the StreamYard. I'm not perfect with it, but using that stream, learning how to use StreamYard for this live, uh, made me feel more comfortable. And I still goof up, and I goofed up the way that I told Will I better be careful not to do that. And what did I do, Will? What did I
Oh,
do?
at least
Listen. It's the more you do it, the more comfortable you are. What I said to you earlier. So, like, first stream is going to be a ton of hiccups, but don't worry. 2 or
Yeah.
3 months from now, you'll be a pro at this, and this has been great. So we're looking forward to more streams from you for sure.
Yes, I'm excited about it. And again, JC Landry, I do appreciate this. I listened to the stories you have out. Everything has been great, and you have the calming voice. So thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. And please uh, check. We have a live premiere tomorrow at 2. And one thing, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's not. I got the video almost done. It's a couple little, uh, yeah, yeah, dusting off that has to happen. And Will, you have your channel. We need to drop your channel in the chat. Casey, can you drop Will's channel in chat, because he's got a live coming on in about 16 minutes.
Oh, if I mean, no one here knows who I am, so I mean, if you'd like to give me yes, I'm starstruck now. Thank you. So yes, we'll be live in 15 minutes, guys. But
Yep.
that's why Joe and I scheduled it this way. We want to make sure everyone's here to support Joe, and thank you guys for supporting Joe.
Yeah, I do appreciate it. You guys are great. You really are. And I do want to say one thing before
And oh,
I want to say one thing before I leave out, and that is where did my name come from? Doc Lanou. Doc is one of my grandfathers. Lanou is the other. Now, truthfully, I do not know if Doc it was his actual name or a nickname. It probably was a nickname, but I always only knew him as Doc. He died when I was about, I don't know, 1 year old. And my other grandfather, Lanou, well, he died even before my mother was born. My grandmother was pregnant with my mom when he passed away. So to me, it's just kind of a way to throw a homage, and I thought that the name kind of had a good feel to it. So Doc Lanou was the name for this channel for my, I guess, online persona for YouTube. And
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you.
That's
Yeah.
nice. You named it for both your grandparents. I like
Yeah.
that.
And everyone, I would like to say have a great day. Please like, share, subscribe. Someone's got some feedback going on here.
If I may, just real quick, Dave, not David, Dave. I know we just met for the first. Oh, David's gone. Oh
No, I
because
put him on backstage.
yeah, that's fine. I don't know if Dave is too familiar with like what we do on my stream, but like I'm happy to give him the StreamYard link if he's interested in that kind of stuff. Or at least Dave, if you want to at least come in the chat and see what we're kind of about, the link is in the comment section. Hop on. But if you're familiar with what I do, which I won't talk about here, it's not important. But I'm happy to have you on the panel as well.
I appreciate the invite. I'm not sure if I'll be around for that, but you just
No
never
problem.
Know. Could happen.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. But you have the channel, so hop on anytime. Happy to have you on.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Joe, I'm gonna hop off. Thanks a lot, Joe.
All right. Yeah, I'll be over there in a little bit. And thank you, sir. And everyone, thank you for coming on board. I appreciate every one of you. This has been a little scary, but great at the same time. And thank you for being on the show. From what I can tell, I think we had like 10 to 11 people for the very first live stream. So, yay! That much. We'll have more and more people to join us as we grow. Have a great day and take care of yourselves. And probably we'll see most of you over at Quadromania's channel. And thank you, Miss Vestige of Peace, and thank you, Mr. Millsy. I'll see you guys over on the other side.